Welcome to the Home Services Home Show, where you'll learn a lot that you need to know.
And a lot you don't.
That's for sure. Last show we talked about a racing homing
pigeons.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I think today we're going to get right into it because we struck a little nerve.
We did. We got some comments and some questions, and I didn't think that roof repair versus roof restore would create that much chatter.
Yeah, but if you think about it, if you look at the roofing industry as a whole, there's not a lot of, well, if you try to find someone to repair your roof, like it's not.
No.
You're typically dealing with a handyman. Like no roofing company wants to waste their time. They want to tear it off. They want to redo it. It was funny. I was actually talking to my wife about that this weekend. We went by someplace and they had a really, really old steel roof on there. And, you know, you can go back and forth what's better, steel or asphalt. But we were over in Europe this past fall.
In August.
Did you see any asphalt roofs over there?
Mm-hmm.
It was all stone.
Tile.
Or tile.
Yep.
That looked really old. I bet you they do a lot of restores.
Lots of restores.
Giving back life. So we struck a nerve. We had some questions about chimneys, about chimney crickets, about skylights. Let's just take the skylight one,
sure,
for instance. So a lot of roofers do not want to replace skylights.
Because it's not easy.
It's not easy. Are they going to fit the same way the other ones did? Do we get the right size?
It's not a cookie cutter fix for the homeowner. So most roofers don't want to deal with it because it's not easy button.
They want to buy a new flashing kit,
mm-hmm.
redo the step flashing on the sides, and call her good.
Done.
But what we know, I mean, the number one manufacturer is a company called Velux.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know if they make any other ones, to be honest with you.
After Anderson got out of it, it's just Velux.
Yeah. So they have a good warranty. It's a 10-year, no leak, yada, yada, yada. But what we know is after a re-roof,
she's gone. Yep.
People are like, well, why?
Right.
Because it's not around the window that leaks.
Right.
It's the actual top of the window. It's the glazing.
So you got the two panes of glass. You got to realize they're sitting horizontal or near horizontal to the sun, the wind, the rain, all that stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what people don't understand what a skylight is the amount of abuse your roof takes on a re-roof situation, right? So if a roofer says, you know what, it looks pretty good, I want to make it easy for me, so I'm not going to replace your skylight, they're doing a huge disservice because what's going to happen is they're going up there with thousands of nails. So if you look at my water bottle, thousands of nails
on a table.
Every time you nail, you're causing damage, you're causing vibration to that
not even
glass.
To mention the tear off.
Correct. The scraping
it's
and the
very aggressive,
right.
Violent.
Mm-hmm.
I've had homeowners be home during the roof, and they're like, "It sounded like there was a war going on top of my roof." Yeah,
there's tons of shingles that got to come off there. Literally,
tons,
and
thousands of shingles or nails that come out and get put back on.
Correct.
I can tell you from a personal story. I have a really good friend, and this was when we first really got into this. This is probably like 2012-ish. He had actually just had his skylights replaced like a year. So this is so backwards, but his roof was really bad and his skylights were leaking. So he had his skylights replaced, but not his roof.
Sure.
So then 2 years later, he's like, yeah, come look at my roof. I go look at his roof. Like, yeah, man, it's, granular loss. Bad.
Sure.
Okay. I was like, okay, yeah, we're going to replace this. And we started talking about the skylights, and he's like, well, I just had those replaced. They're 2 years old. I'm like, okay, no problem. Reflash them. About a month later, we get a big storm in the middle of the night, and guess who gets a call because there is literally a faucet coming through his skylight.
Your buddy.
I got it.
Because his wife is crying.
Oh,
right. She's bawling.
Pissed.
Right.
At me.
Right.
I did what you told me.
You weren't the expert that time.
Exactly. And that's what I said to him. I said, I'm sorry. I know. I just figured since they were only 2 years old, we'd be okay.
Sure.
No. They leaked like a sieve, and it was wet sheetrock.
Oh no, wet
water on
insulation.
there. Well, because it was a
Oh,
vaulted ceiling, right? So it
beautiful.
went through real easy. Wet wood floor.
Crying wife. That's the worst.
No, she's just trying to throw stuff at me. She's mad. She's just mad, real mad.
But we see that same scenario over and over again, especially when you start talking about storm related stuff, right? We had a little storm come up through in my neck of the woods last year or two ago.
Well, insurance companies don't want to pay for them
because it's hard and it's expensive.
Yeah.
Right.
Insurance companies, no, they're fine.
Right. They will be until you start pounding nails around them and you lose something glass and in a seal. And
that's one of the big restore things that I've been seeing where we just had a couple, like 2 last week that I know of. Roof was 1 or 2 years old.
Yep.
Skylights didn't get replaced. Skylights leaking.
And now it's a lot more expensive for us to do it.
Way more expensive
than when the roof would have been off. If someone would have
relatively not that expensive when the roof was tore off.
No, but the roofer again, you didn't do the roof.
No,
but whoever did the roof didn't want to take the time and effort and energy to have to deal with details, and now the customer's holding the bag, which is it's unfortunate. Like that's not fair.
So,
but we do see it. So skylights are a big one.
What we know with skylights is if you're getting your roof replaced and you have skylights, we have customers that are adamant they don't want to replace them. They will sign off that if they leak,
and they're going to,
and they will, almost a guarantee, they'll leak. We can't be held liable because we know how violent of a process a tear off and a re-roof is. And I mean, those windows are literally on your roof getting baked all day long. So skylights need to be replaced, but they can be replaced.
It's a fairly for our guys that do it every day. It's not
easy.
hard. It takes some time. Right? You got to keep some shingles. You got to take some shingles out around it.
So you got to be careful.
Yep. You got to get the old one out. You got to put the new one in. You got to flash it all properly.
Some ice and water, some underlayment. Yeah.
Some flashing kits, but it's doable. It's not necessarily hard. It's just more difficult now because the roof's new.
Yes. So if a roofer's saying you don't need to replace them,
he's lying to you.
Ask him if he's going to come back when they leak.
Correct. I bet the answer is no.
The answer is no. And ask him if he's going to give you a cell phone number and it'll be on at 1:00 in the morning during a storm.
When your wife's crying. That's such a shame.
Bad memories.
Oh, man.
Because you feel, I just felt helpless.
Right.
Like, what should we do? I'm like, put a bucket below it? It's funny, but not funny, right?
Right.
Anyway, 2 years old, didn't matter, went through a re-roof, should have been replaced.
You fixed it right the next day, didn't you?
We fixed it immediately.
Next day.
Immediately within a couple of days, he had a new skylight.
Right.
And that was a long time ago. So it works.
Right.
So another big one is chimneys.
Chimneys. In Wisconsin, we have lots of chimneys. They're not all working anymore, but they're still there going through your roof.
They're still there. You guys, we tear quite a few off, honestly.
Yeah, probably half and half, maybe.
Yeah. And if people don't know, the reason there were a lot of chimneys is typically when a home was built, 50, 60, 70 years ago, they put a furnace and they put a water heater right smack dab, typically in the middle of the basement. Middle of the basement because it was more efficient to spread the heat around the home from the middle.
Yep.
And they were all self-venting.
Mm-hmm.
So
natural drafting.
There you go.
Got it.
It went up through the chimney. Same with water heater.
Right.
Natural drafting. Most of them have been replaced with power vents.
Out the side, out through your rim joist. Yep.
Out the side of the house. For both of them, furnace and water heater.
It's a better way to do it.
It is a better way to do it.
But now you have this giant hole in your attic.
Yes. And some people, they want it. It looks nice. But we've got to do it right when we do a roof.
Right.
And then sometimes people are like, hey, that's not being used. Let's
knock it down.
Knock her down.
Mm-hmm. But the roofers that don't do it right can cause another problem with water.
Yep.
Because think about it, you have a perpendicular plane to the water running down. It hits it and it stops. And it sits there. And water's going to find its way in if it wants to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so if you have somebody talking about a cricket, we're not talking about the insect. That is literally like putting a sloped roof behind your chimney. So when the water comes down from the top, it is dispersed around the back. We put those on every day.
Every day.
There are so many roofs that do not have that put on there. I mean, what's the rule? I mean, is there a rule for how? Is it,
So the manufacturer now knows that 6 feet or more, it's required when you're doing a golden pledge.
6 feet from the very peak of your roof down. If there's more than 6 feet of roof, it should have it.
That's the manufacturer's recommendation. Guess what? Yours and ours is
3.
3. Just do it.
Just put it on.
Why take the chance? You have a beautiful new roof that's very, very expensive. Why take the chance of
Doesn't add that much cost
when the roof is being done?
when the roof is being done. We want to talk about roof restore.
We just did two. We just
That's
did two
a
of them.
different
We just did 2 of them last week where they were pretty good sized chimneys, and I had 2 guys there for nearly almost a day. By the time you take and get all the shingles out around it,
Yep.
and then you got to cut in with a grinder.
You're not just talking about putting the cricket on.
No.
Now you're talking about putting the cricket on and
All the flashing.
flashing the entire chimney.
And now I've got to cut into the stone, into the brick, so we can actually get our flashing into the stone, so we get it sealed up right. But now we got all the dust that's on the brand new shingles. So it literally is. Again, is it doable? Sure, it is. It would have been a whole lot easier if the rougher who did it the first time would have done it right.
Right.
But again, people say, "Oh, that looks like a really nice price." Well, then guess who's paying for it?
Well, that's the thing. So one of the biggest leak points on a roof is a chimney because they are not easy to do.
Mhm.
Now, some people have a chimney that is wood with siding on it. Those aren't easy to flash
Mhm.
either. Most of them are stone,
Right.
brick, or some sort of
Field stone, right?
How many times have our guys went up and they got flashing running up the side and it's literally just like siliconed around.
Right. They take their little video microscope and they can look and then they can see into the flashing.
They can go right into it.
If you can see into it, guess what the water can do?
Goes
What
right
do
in. Even on our roofing crews, there are only a couple guys on the crew that are allowed to flash chimneys.
Right. It's that important of a detail.
Because it is an important detail and it is very much a learned skill.
Correct.
Right? You don't just, hey, you got that chimney today.
No.
No.
Nope.
I know for us there's 2 guys.
Yep.
So when it comes to roof restore, that is a major part. You might have fantastic looking shingles. They might be 5 years old. There's nothing wrong with them, but your chimney leaks because the whole thing was not done right.
Correct.
Now, when you do that after the fact, I mean, you're talking about tearing off a lot of stuff. If this is your chimney, we're going way around that chimney because you have to.
But guess what we did? We restored life to your roof without having to tear the whole thing off.
Yes.
And that's the beauty of restore versus a roof repair.
Yep. Roof repair would involve, what is that stuff called? I just talked about Flex
Flex
Seal.
seal.
That would be a repair.
Yeah. That's not the right answer.
It's not the right answer.
Right. Although it might be a good product, not the right answer.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, those are some things we're seeing, and those are some questions we had, and we actually had some good back and forth with people that watched, and the chimney one and the skylight one was actually a couple good back and forth.
Yeah, I think that what that really comes down to is people really doing their due diligence when they get a new roof.
Correct.
Because these particular
Restores
are this is stuff that rears its ugly head really quickly.
Right.
You know, leaking pipe boots, stuff like that. That takes time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that takes time for that
nail pops,
rubber. That
stuff
takes
like that.
time. The chimney, the skylights, the cricket, that you're going to find out about that right away.
Right. Yeah. And it's unfortunate when someone finds out the hard way that the cheapest price they took on the roof ends up being more expensive in the long run because they have to have areas redone.
And 99% of the time, there's nobody to call.
Right. They're gone.
They're gone.
Mm-hmm. Tail light warranty.
Every time.
So, you know, it breaks my heart.
In fact, that was the story on at least one of them that we ran last week where the skylights were leaking.
Yeah.
Phone number disconnected.
It breaks my heart because people paid money to somebody. Obviously, we
They
didn't do
still
the roof.
paid a lot of money.
Right. And they didn't get it done right. And that just breaks my heart. It shouldn't be that way.
Yeah.
But it is. So
But we can fix it. So
they keep doing them wrong. We'll fix them the right way.
we will fix them the right way or we'll replace them. But what it comes down to, bottom line, is running with integrity
Right.
and doing it the right way. If somebody needs a new roof and they think they need a restore, we're going to let them know you need a new roof.
Mm-hmm.
But vice versa, we have a leak and we need a new roof. Hey, you don't
You
need a whole new roof. So if somebody told you they did, you didn't. We can fix A, B, C, and D.
Right.
It's a fraction of the price, and you've got time
Right.
on this roof.
Correct.
So, if you're watching or listening, and you think you might be there, come out and do an inspection,
Yeah.
take a look. If you've got a leak, that's something that we can pinpoint. We do Dr. Energy Saver as well. So we're well versed at getting around in the attic
Attic.
and actually finding that leak, because
Right.
sometimes that's the hardest part. So,
That's what we do.
yeah, look us up, Larson Home Services, Keeney Home Services.
Yep.
We'll come out and check it all out. So thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.
See you guys.